हा, नमः सर्वेभ्यः। अद्य शनिवासरे कक्षायां स्वागतं। प्रायः अद्य दशमपाठस्य पठनं समाप्यते। तदनन्तरं किम् इति पश्यामः। तु प्रार्थनया प्रारम्भं करोमि। यथा सर्वदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। हरिः ओम ओम तत्सत्। तो अस्माभिः गतकक्ष्यायां गतवासरान्ते गतकक्ष्यायां दशमपाठस्य संधि
सन्धि नमस्कार महोदय।
नमस्ते। सो संधि विषये पठन्तः आस्म वयं। तु तत्र किं भवति, प्लीस् कैण्ड्लि डोण्ट् अन्म्यूट्। तो तत्र अस्माभिः आहत्य स्वरसन्धीनां विषये किञ्चित् यत् परिचयस्तरे अस्माभिः पठितमस्ति, अपि च व्यञ्जनसन्धीनां विषये यत् अस्मिन् स्तरे अस्माभिः पठितमस्ति। जष्ट्वं, ष्टुत्वं, श्चुत्वं, चर्त्वम्, अनुनासिकसन्धि, अनुस्वार, परसवर्ण, नमुडागम एतेषां पठनम्, अपि च छत्वं, पूर्वसवर्ण एतयोः अपि किञ्चित् ज्ञानं प्राप्तम् अस्माभिः। तदनन्तरं विसर्गसन्धिरपि पठितं। विसर्गसन्धौ बहुविध सन्धयः, बहु वैविध्यमस्ति विसर्गसन्धौ। यथा उत्वं, लोपः, तदनन्तरं सकारादेशः, शकारादेशः, षकारादेशः, अथवा अन्ततो गत्वा विसर्गस्य तथैव स्थापनम् अथवा जिह्वामूल्य उपद्मानीय वर्णेन आदेशः, एवम् एतत् सर्वम् अस्माभिः ज्ञातम्। तु अद्य किं क्रियते अस्माभिः? अत्र मिश्रितरूपेण सन्धीनां प्रसक्तिः दत्तमस्ति। प्रायः अत्र विसर्गसन्धेः प्रसक्तिरेव अस्ति इति मां विसर्गसन्धेः एव। तु अभ्यास एतद्द्वावपि विसर्गसन्धेः अभ्यासौ अस्तु। So what I have done here, this shortest card, it's a little bit mathematical, but we have become little familiar with this. Utva is possible when there is aha followed by a or mrudu vyanjana. Okay, and then lopa is possible in three ways. Yada aha api cha tadanantaram at binna swaraha ityukte hrusva akara binna swaraha. आ इ उ इ ई उ उ एतादृशस्वराणां स्वीकारः तत्र स्यात्। यदि ह्रस्व अकारः अस्ति चेत् तत्र उत्वं भवति। तद् भिन्नस्वरे स्वरस्य प्रसक्तिरस्ति परस्थाने, तदा लोपः भवितुं शक्यते। तदनन्तरम् आह यत्किमपि स्वर मृदुव्यञ्जनं वा स्यात् तत्रापि लोप। सः एषः इति तत्र अद्भिन्नत्वेन लोपं स्वीकरोति। तदपि दृष्टम् अस्माभिः। तु तदनन्तरं यत्र रेपः एव भवति, रकारः, रेपः इत्युक्ते रकारः इति न वक्तव्यं, तु र आदेशः अथवा रेफादेशः भवति, तदपि अस्ति अत्र। यदि अव्यय पदमस्ति, each is basically ach without akara. That means all the swaras without akara, so are excluded and the remaining. Okay, so under that condition, with any swara or mriduvyanjana, you will get repadesha. Okay, so
Maria, excuse me, are you sharing something? I mean, we are unable to see any card.
I think you have to check your setting, Mahodaya. I have been
Okay.
sharing from beginning. Others are able to see. Just check if the window got parked or something.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem. So if you see now, the letter before the visarga is the critical player in the earlier ones. We saw aha, aha, and then saha, esha are actually aha variants, but because they are two specific words, there is a slightly different lopa rule for them, which is more universal than normal aha, aha. That's what is talked about. So having excluded the prefix position of a hrisva akara or a dirgha akara before the visarga, what we are left with each, that is other than the remaining swaras with a visarga. If you notice, a visarga is a it's a kind of a upaswara, you can call it. It doesn't exist as a standalone swara. It exists along with another swara like aha, aha, ihi, uhu, etc. So that's why we are talking about the swara before the visarga. Each, or if there is an avyaya shabda, even without an ich, if there is an avyaya shabda, if the avyaya shabda is even akaranta, akaranta, then also there is a repadesha prasakti. Okay, so under any swara or mrudu vyanjana being the next letter, there is a repadesha in place of visarga. Then sakaradesha and conversion of the sakara to shakara, shakara through shchutva or shtutva, the three other replacement type. Okay, with heaty sounds. So visarga get replaced with sa, sh. And what are the conditions under which sa remains? When there is a s, t, th, s remains. S becomes the substitute. When sh, ch, ch is the post letter, sh becomes the replacement. Sh, t, th. Okay, halanta is missing there. Then it is sh replacement. So double shakara or sh, th is heard. Okay. Then there is the case of uh, either a visarga remaining or getting replaced with upadmaniya, jihvamulya, ardha visarga. We call them as half visargas. So when there is a kakara or a kakara, not a kshakara, later I have learned that kshakara is having a separate rule that excludes, though kshakara has a kakara in the beginning, it gets excluded from the this rule. But anyway, if it is a clear kakara or kakara or a pakara or pakara, for ka and kha, we hear the ardhas visarga called upadmaniya, which is this green, just a symbol, and then jihva mulya. So like that, and like that. Okay, like one of the Bhaginis said, it is a little bit of f sound will generate before the p and p. Okay, so this, or you can choose to leave it as full visarga also. Okay, but then in pronouncing you have to space it. If you are going to kill the space, then you have to do upadmaniya jihva mulya pronunciation. Okay, so those are all the what you can call as a simple help card that is there for us. Okay, so and as you know, utva is usually followed by a guna that we have seen, and then repa, sometimes the repamsha is seen as a stroke on the next letter. Okay, so it's not always seen like a normal r with halant. It is seen as a stroke on the next letter, so you have to look out for it. All right, so is there a question?
Sir, this Nama plus Nama.
Namo namaha. There is no namaha, namaha, namo namaha.
Namaha, Namaha. There is no Ukara there.
There is a mrudu vyanjana na, no? Na is a mrudu vyanjana. So namo namaha utvam.
Oh, okay.
Huh. Hetvi, is there a question? I saw you unmuted. No. Okay. So let us try these exercises now. Fairly straightforward. What we have to remember always is what applies. So you have to look for, is it hrisva akara, dirgha akara, is it a special word, is it some other swara, and then accordingly look at the post condition and come to the conclusion from this card. Okay, so if you remember this, we had remembered it as 1, 2.1, 2, 3, 3, 4.1, 2, 3, 4 like that, but it's enough to look at this in this coded way because better to remember with title. Visargasya utvam, visargasya lopaha, visargasya lopaha, lopaha, visargasya repa deshaha, visargasya sakara deshavata, visargasya sakaraha, visargasya shakaraha, visargasya shakaraha, visargasya upadmaniya chihva मूलीयाः एवं कर्तुं शक्नुमः. Manasi namna eva sthapanam varam. These numbers are meaningless. They are just our inventions. Okay. Okay. So nrupatihi ayam, ihi ayam. So ihi immediately rules out all these conditions, right? So this is possible because each is covered and ihi is covered under each. So we look for the next one, swara. Okay, so Repa fits. This card excites. So all the other cards will reject. This card will excite. So Repa Desha happens. Nrupati Rayam. Here there is a complete Repa scene because Akara was there. So Repa combines with Akara to be an explicit Ra. Okay. So like this we have to proceed. Sukinaha Bhavantu. So you guys can attempt.
Sukino bhavantu. Ukara.
Utvam. Aha plus bha mrudu vyanjana. Utvam. First card excites. Very well done. Sukino bhavantu. There is no Purva Rupa and all that because it is a Bhakara. If there was a Hrisva Akara, Purva Rupa is optionally also there next. Okay. Normally. Sorry, I had to mute everyone because one rail or something took off in somebody's house. So Namaha, Namaha. We just did that.
Namo Namaha.
Namo Namaha. You can write it with the space or without. Utva, Utvam or Ukaraha. Visargasya Ukaraha. Samyak. Balaha Agataha.
Agatah. Lopaha.
See, Atbinnaswara. Okay. Iti Atbinnaswara. So first card cannot excite because it is not Akara, it is not Mrudu Vyanjana. So Atbinnaswara fits. So, and we do have
Sir, Balaha, Agata, we should say in the first word, no, sir? Balaha, no, Angadana, we should say not. We should say in the first or second, slight confusion for me.
Please observe the statement there. The first card is excited when Hrisva Akara precedes the Visarga. That qualifies. Balaha qualifies for the first card. I agree with you. But the post condition for the first card is Hrisva Akara or Mrudu Vyanjana. What is A? Dirgha Akara. So it doesn't qualify for the post condition. So we move to the next card to check. Aha qualifies. At binna swara. That means Hrisva Akara binna swara. So yes, this qualifies because it's not Hrisva Akara. So second card excites. So Lopa by second card. Okay. Bala Agataha. Like that. Okay. Is it clear, Bhagini?
Sir. Yes, sir. Understood. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's what I have annotated here. Okay. What I have annotated here is
should not be combined, no, sir. They should be kept separate only, no?
Bhagini, if you look at all these rules, you look at rule and you check whether any rule overlaps the other. No. Okay. No rule overlaps the other. They are having exclusive zones. Okay. They are like independent sets.
Independent words.
Overlap, independent sets. Overlap not there. Okay. I'm using some mathematical term like a set. That means whatever condition satisfies one set is not also satisfied by another set.
Understood, sir. Understood.
Okay, they are independent. Okay. Except sometimes there is an override. For example, the override is this one. Like for example, lopaha saha eshaha is an exception to the earlier aha sets. Okay. Because there is even larger condition. Saha eshaha is like an even larger condition than just aha. It is superior card. Okay.
Okay. So if you write that Namo Namaha in one single, it is wrong. No, sir?
Nothing wrong. I said avasana. The space is optional. Your vivaksha. You can write it Namo Namaha. No problem.
No problem. Okay. Thank you.
Ravihi udeti.
Ravi
Ravi
Rudete.
Rudeti.
Refaha.
Refaha.
Each, correct, each. So, and swara, so u. So definitely repa card excites. So Ravi Rudeti. Hmm? So again rakara repa, sorry, repa combines with ukara to make ru. So that repa card. So devaha uvacha.
Deva
Deva
Uvach.
Uvacha.
Lopaha.
Lopaha.
Well done. So aha plus atbinna swara. So deva uvacha, second card, lopa card. Very good. Punaha eshaha.
Punareshaha. Refaha.
Why punareshaha? Why punareshaha?
Punaha avyayamasti.
Punaya
Very good.
Avyayamasti.
Very good. Avyayamasti. So if we go by normal rule, sorry, I am forced to mute because somebody's microphone is very noisy. Nalini Varye, can you mute yourself? Nalini Varye, there is some fan or I don't know what is there in your environment. Whenever you unmute, the noise is enormous. Unfortunately, I'm forced to mute every time. Just to see if there is a fan on, you can turn off. Otherwise, you have to see why the noise is so much. Anyway, we'll not worry now. Okay, so what is happening with punaha eshaha? If you do not seek the fact that punaha is an avyaya, we go with aha plus a. Aha plus a fits this lopa. Aha plus atbinna swara, right? So you will think of as a puna esha like that. Okay, but there is a specific rule. Whenever there is a specific rule that overrides the generic rule. So this is very specific rule. Like saha eshaha is a specific rule. Okay, avyaya is a very specific rule. It's a narrow rule encompassing all avyayas. So we take that card, okay, and ignore the other card. So though I had earlier said there is no overlapping set, there are actually two cards that are overriding the other card. Like saha eshaha has an exclusion above utvam, and avyaya each this repadesha has an exception above the lopa, as we saw. Okay, or even utva in some cases. Okay, so it can override either of those cards because it has overlapping conditions on the post condition. So this why we need to prioritize this. So that's why we prioritize punareshaha like that. Okay, so repadesha happens. Okay, pratah api.
Pratarapi Refaha.
Pratarapi.
Pratara
Again.
Refaha.
Avyayamasti.
So what you guys do, you guys try to make a patika of these cases that you encounter with Repadesha. Okay. So punaha pratah, few more maybe there in the exercises earlier. Make a collection of avyaya padas that at least are there in this book for now. Okay.
Why
So
not Ukara rule apply for the seventh one? The first Nama plus Nama, no? Namaha plus Namaha. That won't apply for Pradaha plus Api.
I am why it is not pratopi ba? That's what is
Yeah,
your question?
yeah,
Okay, because you brought namaha namaha, I got confused. So
yeah.
why it is not pratopi is because prataha is an avyaya. You
Oh.
don't ever do pratasya, pratehe, pratanam, etc. Prataha remains prataha. Okay.
Okay.
Basically, it is like a saptami fixed avyaya. Okay, you can call it as a saptami fix because it's a time positioner. So time is usually in saptami. That's why. But there is nothing like saptami vibhakti to that. It is a avyaya that is treated as if it is in saptami. That's all. Okay.
Pratarapi.
Pratarapi will follow. Repadesha will happen. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Same reason why punareshaha. This guy also gets this. Okay. Otherwise, you would have seen this will fit into the Utva category. Pratopi, Utva with Purva Rupa also following. But it is not, we choose Pratarapi for that because of this overriding card. Okay. Now, yes, Bhagini. Some question was there. Okay. So, maybe I'm hearing myself. So, if at our level today as students, if we end up doing pratopi and all, it is not fatal. Okay, but the deeper grammar rules have to be honored. So pratarapi is the correct form. But pratopi is not what you call fatal. So,
Okay.
Guruhu Vishnuhu.
Gurur
Guru
Vishnu.
Vishnu.
This one is
Refaha.
under each. Okay.
Mridu Vyanjanam.
Mrudu Vyanjana is there and each is the qualifier. Okay. That means it is other than Hrisva Akara. So Ukara, Uhu plus Va. So Mrudu Vyanjana qualifies and each qualifies. So Repadesh. Gurur Vishnu. This is there in our prayer.
Guru
Gurur
Brahma,
Brahma, Gurur Vishnu. We have several representatives there. Saha Vadati.
Savadati.
Sa
Lopaha.
vadati. Lopaha.
Fourth card. Lopaha. Saha Eshaha. Savadati. Lopa.
ये इलर से नहीं आएगा ना उतना ऊपर, थोड़ा नीचे करना पड़ेगा ना। हाँ, जितना मतलब चलेगा।
Sorry guys. Okay, we'll have to just hold, adjust. Namaha Tubhyam.
Namastubhyam.
Namastubhyam.
By
Karkash
practice all of
Vyanjanani. Sorry,
correct.
Karkash word and Sakar Deshaha.
Sakaradesha. Fantastic. This card, right? But this also we know from so many shlokas. Namastubhyam. So, but it is always good also to know from examples, not always by rules also. Okay. So these kind of prototypes also help us. Namastubhyam. So, but the rule is taught by the example that we know. Namastubhyam, like Bhagini said, Takara. It's not a Mrudu Vyanjana. So immediately we know either Sakara Adesha or Shtutva, and potentially even Upadmaniya, etc. All those things can happen, or Repa can remain. So we come to the second set of cards. So the second set of cards are, see here Sakara Adesha fits because of Takara. Okay. So Sa remains. So Namastubhyam, like that will happen. Okay. Durjanaha tu.
Durjanastu. Karkash
Same.
Sakar
Sakaradeshaha.
Deshaha.
Karkasha Vyanjana Sakara Adesha, and it is not Chutva or Shtutva, so it remains Sakara. Very good. See, usually the process in Panini is first a Sakara Adesha happens, then Shtutva or Shtutva happens. So the Shakara card is not different from Sakara card. If you can call it, these are further transformations due to Shtutva or Shtutva of a Sakara Adesha. Okay, so in the original Paninian Prakriya, Sakara Adesha is the dominant one, under which Shtutva later are applied due to other Sandhi rules in the order. Okay, Vyanjana
Excuse
Sandhi
me,
order.
sir.
Yes, Bhagini.
Sir, Durjanaha is a wicked person, right?
Correct.
So when it combines Durjanastu, so what would be the complete meaning of this whole word?
Look, Bhagini, number one alarm alert I would like to give you is, don't always assume Sandhi is between two related words, first of all. Okay. But most likely it will be. But I am just telling you, don't make the assumption. Samasta pada, there is a relation between the padas. Okay. In a Sandhi, there need not be relation. Okay. There is a relationship because of the Vakya. Because at the sentence level, they are connected through the verb or something in different vibhaktis, they are connected to the verb, they are related that way. But there is no direct relationship. But if you can imagine, tu is like voto, avanam, indeed, or like that, something like that. I don't know how to say it in English. There isn't, indeed is not a good translation, but you can take it. Okay.
Sir.
So,
All
yeah,
right.
indeed is a fair translation in this case. So, Durjana indeed. So, here you should imagine Durjanastu sarvada tathaiva bhavati. Durjana, usko choda wo sab वैसा ही रहता है, like that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Balaha namati.
Balo Namati.
Balo
Utvam.
First
Balo
card.
namati.
Well done. Utvam. Okay. Balo namati.
Utvam.
Shambhuhu
Ukaraha.
avadat.
Shambhur
Shambhur
Vadat.
avadat.
Shambho.
Repaha.
Not Shambho avadat.
Repaha.
See,
Shambhur
repaha.
Vadat.
Ich uhu plus swara mrudu. Okay. So Shambhur avadat. Okay. Repa desha. Okay. If you see why it is not Shambho avadat. Okay. Because it's not aha. It is uhu. Aha would have made it Shambho avadat. If it was Shambaha. There is no such word. But if it was Shambaha, then Shambho avadat. It is not Shambaha. It is Shambho. Uhu means immediately it goes out of the first few cards. It has to go to this each qualification. Okay, other than akara, akara. Okay. Bhimaha avadat.
Bhimo avadat.
Bhimo
Ah,
Are
vadat.
gun and purva rupa.
Tvam
correct.
purvarupa guna everything.
Utva, Guna, Purvarupa. Very good. So this, instead of the Shambhu Abhadat going to Repa, this guy is Aha. So immediately fits to the first card, Utva card. Utva immediately has its own growth, that is Guna, and then potential Purvarupa, that is also there. Okay. All right. Guruhu Gataha.
Gurur gata.
Gurur
Ah.
Gurur
Repaha.
gataha. Repaha.
Here this is very similar to this Uhu plus Gakara. Here it was Mrudu Vyanjana. Earlier Shambhu was with Swara. Here it's with Mrudu Vyanjana. But still it is Repadesha. Kurur Gataha. The Guru went. Bhimaha Avadat. Bhima told. Shambhu Avadat. Shambhu told. Shiva told. Balaha Namati. The boy salutes. This kind of meanings. If you want to take it in the continuum sense. Split the sandhi and say what change Visarga has undergone. Okay, this is easier of the two. Doing the sandhi, it requires us to again and again filter through this card and
So
firm it
what's
up
the
in our
meaning
head.
of manyante, sir? Manyante?
Where it is there, Bhagini?
No, it is there in one translation, sir.
Think.
Yeah.
Think.
Many people think manyante, plural of I think manyate, manyete, manyante.
Okay.
It is a let Bahuvachan.
Sir, can you kindly give one example for the last rule, sir? That ka, kha, pa, pha.
Ramah patati. Ramah patati. Ramah patati. Ramah patati. Okay.
How is it written, sir? How is it?
It is written. You write. People write it. See, basically, Visarga is written as two small circles, na? Okay. The notation is to write a half circle above and a half circle below, like this, little bit. Okay. To show that it is a half eaten up Visarga. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So split the sandhi and say what change Visarga has undergone. So we have to name the thing. So Nripatis Saha, Nripatihi Saha. So here it is very easy. Sakaraha or Sakaradeshaha, something you can write. Okay. Visargasya Sakaraha. Like that also you can write if you want. So in the exam, don't write just Sakaraha, because here everything is Visarga Sandhi, they didn't say. In the exam, please write Visarga Sandhihi Sakaradeshaha or Visarga Sandhihi Sakaraha. Something like that you write. Okay. Don't just write Sakaraha. Okay. Shivorchitaha.
Shivaha urchitaha. Visarga sandhi ukaraha.
Visargasya utvam.
Utvam Gunaha Purvarupascha. Okay, you have to write all three. So Shivaha Architaha. So please write Visargasya Ukaraha. Okay, Gunaha. Then say Purvarupam. Purvarupaha. Sandhihe Purvarupaha iti. Megha Akashe.
Meghaha akashe. Visargasya lopaha.
Visargasya Lopaha. Dvitiya Prasakti.
Lopaha.
Visargasya Lopaha. Don't need to worry about naming what Lopa. Just call it Lopa is enough. Okay. Visargasya Lopaha. You can call it that Atbinnasware. No, here, Atbinnasware Lopaha. Samyak. Akasha ityata Atbinnaswara. But don't worry about naming that. That is, just call it Lopa is enough. Nripate Radeshaha.
Nrupatehi adeshaha. Visargasya repaha.
Visargasya Repadeshaha athva Visargasya Repaha. Enough. Very good. Ramo Namat.
Ramaha anamat. Ukaraha
Anamat.
Gunaha Purvarupa.
Gunaha Purvarupaha.
Correct. Jano Gataha.
Janaha
Gataha.
Ukaraha. Visargasya.
Ukaraha Gunaha Purvarupa.
No, Bhagini, don't just default to Purvarupa. It is a
Only
Gakara. There is no
Guna.
That's all. Stop at Guna. Sajanaha.
Saha plus janaha. Visargasya lopaha.
Saha Yeshaha rule. Okay. This third of the lobe. Well done. So I think you guys have done that nicely. So this is another type they have given. So this is interesting. With one prefix word with different context, what happens? I like this exercise. It's nice. It shows the variation. So balaha asti. So
Balu, balu,
balosti.
Balosti.
So utvam
Utvam.
purva.
Purva.
Balaha agacchati.
Guna.
bala,
Bala.
Bala
Agacchati.
agacchati.
Lopaha.
Lopaha.
Bala agacchati. Very good. Then balaha hasati.
Balo hasati.
Balo hasati.
Mrudu
Utvam.
Mrudu
vyanjanam.
vyanjanam. Very
Ukar
good.
and gunaha.
Very good. So back to the first card, except it is a Mrudu Vyanjana, not a Hrisva Akara, Mrudu Vyanjana. So there is no Purva Rupa, Balo Hasati. I like this because this actually shows how one thing varies with different targets. All the different posterior conditions are satisfied by these guys one by one. Okay. In two cases, it was two different variations of Ukara. Okay. Tishtati, Balaha Tishtati.
Balas
Tishtati.
tishtati.
Balas
Sakaraha.
tishtati. Sakaradeshah.
Karkash
Sakaradesha.
vyanjanani.
कर्कशव्यञ्जन तकारः अस्ति इति सम्यक् करोति
बालः
Balah
करोति
Balah karoti.
बालः
Kardesha
करोति
karkash.
You can write
karoti.
this as visarga in the exam. Don't write it all this upadmaniya and jihva mulya is some extra that I have taught. Like I told you, even when I was teaching, I was just telling you it's all little extra. Just this is called visargasya visargaha. So what really is happening is that visarga is getting visargadesha only in this case, in the sense that it is not getting replaced is one way, but technically in Paninian world it gets replaced with a ardha visarga called upadmaniya because of kakara. Okay, so this green one is the one that is balah karoti, like that. Okay, so just now I think Varya was asking what example there is there right here. One example is given right here. Okay. Balaha with tikante.
So in the exam,
Balas
Tikante.
Takar and stutva.
Sakaradeshah.
Very good.
Stutva.
See, takara comes here. See, so balash tikate. So shakaradesha. So sakaradesha stutvam. Okay. So shakaraha you can write it if you want one go. Okay, but you can also write it as visarga sandhihi sakaradesha plus stutvam. Like that also you can write. Okay. Dhavanti.
Lopaka, Bala,
Bala dhavanti.
Bala dhavanti. Very good. Because
धावन्ति
this aha plus mrudu vyanjana. Well done. Okay. Lopaha mrudu vyanjana. So what I have done here, the second condition when there are multiple options, I have colored in red so that you know which one triggered. Okay. When there is no option, it is atbhinnaswara. There is nothing to say. But in places where there is a slash, we have to identify which for our sake. This in exam you don't need to write all this. I might understand, but some other invigilator may get confused by what all you're writing. So just stick to visargasya lopaha and leave it at that. Okay, shuraha.
Bala
Bala
shura. Takar
shuraha.
and stutva.
Stutvam. Very good. Okay. You can call it Shutvaha or Shutvam. When you say Shutvaha, you're calling it as a qualifier to some Pullinga variant of the what we call, and Shutvam is like a dharmam, like that. Shutvam, like that also is.
Shuraha, sir.
Balashura, Balashura, Kshamitam, Balashura.
Bala you have written, sir. Bala.
Correct, Bhagini. You called me. Bhagini is very sharp. Okay. So Balashuraha. Next, Balaha Tishtanti.
Balas tishtanti. Karkash and shakar.
Sakaradeshah.
Very good. Sakaradesha. Balaha Atanti.
Bala atanti.
Bala atanti.
Lopa due to swara.
Lopaha.
Okay. Lopa due to swara. Okay. Earlier it was Bala Dhavanti Lopa due to Mrudu Vyanjana. Aha plus Mrudu Vyanjana. Here it is Aha plus swara. Very good. So Guruhu Tatha.
Guru sthatha.
Gurus
Karkash.
Sakaradesha. Gurus Tatha. Okay. Guruhu Pujyaha.
There is no sandhi.
Guruhu pujyaha.
Visargaha. Very good.
Sakar
Bhagini's answer
Desha,
is also
pa.
correct. There is no sandhi, or according to Panini, there is a Jihva Muliya substitution. So you can call it no sandhi, or just call it Visargaha, Visargasya Visargaha, or Upadmaniya. Okay. Because of Pakara. Guruf Pujyaha, Guruf Pujyaha, like that. Okay. Or Guruhu Pujyaha, like that. Devaha.
Gurur
Devaha.
Devaha. Repa.
Repadesha.
Repaha.
Well done. So here it is because of each varna, that is Devaha has a ich ending. Oh, sorry, Uhu. Guruhu, Uhu has a ich ending and Deva has a Mrudu Vyanjana. So that gets triggered. So that combination triggers Repadesha. Gurur Devaha. Guruhu Asti.
Guru Rasti.
Guru Rasti.
Repaha.
Gurur
Repaha.
Asti. Repaha. Okay, each plus Swara.
Repaha.
Visargasya Repa. So like this, I think you guys have done very well. So at least Visarga Sandhi. So what you have to importantly is, keep this in your head if possible, or at least written down by your side. Keep it in your head, please, for going forward. Okay. Laukika Nyayaha.
The last one is Guru Deva. Guru Rasti. Guru Rasti.
Guru Rasti. Guru Rasti.
Okay.
Guru Rasti. So because Uhu plus A, so each plus Swara, like that combination.
Yeah.
One doubt, sir, please.
Yes.
Whether it is whether sa is generated sh or sh, we'll be writing sakara deshaha only.
Good. You write it. You don't. I have shown the eventual shakara. If you write that way also, there is nothing wrong. But best to write visargasya sakaraha shtutvam. Visargasya sakaraha shtutvam, like that. Okay.
Shtutvam. Okay.
Shtutvam or shtutvam. Yeah.
Shtutvam or shtutvam. Thank you.
I wrote it in my simple blue is the shortcut, but technically the shakaraha is sakaraha plus chutva. Shakaraha is sakaraha plus shtutva. Okay. Laukika Nyayaha. So last couple of them, very interesting ones. Bakabhanda Prayasa Nyayaha. Bakabhanda Prayasa Nyayaha. Baka means Baka Pakshi. That means the crane or the the long legged, long beaked, long necked. What is not long in that bird? That bird, Baka Pakshi. Then Bandha means to tie, to imprison. Prayasa means effort. Nyaya means the rule. So what does it mean? So the rule of catching a crane, the rule of effort in catching a crane, actually, the rule of effort in catching a crane. The English reads complete reverse of Samskrita word. Weird. Okay. Bakabanda Prayasa Nyaya. I like myself the Samskrita word. Once there was a pond. In the afternoon, two friends spotted a lone crane in the middle of the pond. They wanted to catch it. Okay. You can use crane, you can use any. One of them suggested that they put some butter on the head of the bird. What a weird thought. And when it melted and obscured the sight of the bird, they would catch it. This is like a NASA solution to a simple problem, right? Do you know what is a NASA solution to a simple problem? You guys know any of you? No.
So they pencil.
Somehow they please tell.
Yeah, so they invested millions of dollars to kind of design a pen which will work in the space. So that could have been easily replaced by a pencil.
The Russians. You forgot the Russians. Okay. So once actually the story is told like a joke like this. It is like what happens in space station. So the Americans and Russians meet in the space station and the NASA scientist in the space, that astronaut, wants to impress his Russian friend. Okay. So he shows him this pen. Okay, you guys came here, but look, we are very powerful nation. We have this beautiful pen designed by our scientists, which will write even in space. As you guys know, no, the ink doesn't have gravity, so there are some issues and all that in it's flowing correctly in the space. All that nonsense. Okay. Anyway,
this was shown in the 3 Idiot movie, sir.
Oh, okay, great. So this they show the pen and all that. The Russian is hardly amused. Then the Americans challenge him. So what do you guys do? You guys don't write at all. The Russian pulls out his Natraj pencil. Then the Americans are, after that they will never challenge the Russians. Okay. And it's extremely important today as they both those nations are confronting again. Okay. All
Very
right.
nice.
So this is exactly like that. Okay. One of them suggested that they put some butter on the head of the bird, and when it melted and obscured the sight of the bird, they would catch it. Then the other pointed out that they could actually catch the birds as they put butter on its head. तो ये बताया पहला पकड़ना है उसको बटर डालने के लिए तभी उसको डाल देंगे. So that kind of answer. Okay. This maxim is quoted when a simple job is unnecessarily complicated. All right. Shatapatra patrashata beheda nyaya.
Sir,
Okay.
one thing, sir.
Huh.
Here, the solution is absurd or impossible, no? It is not just that the job is unnecessarily complicated, but it is a futile solution. It doesn't work, no?
Oh, no, if indeed you put butter on the head of the bird and it sat there, it would melt and definitely obscure the sight of the bird. But that the futility was that in order to put the butter, you would have done something to catch it. Right? So the first guy says, whatever stealth by which we catch it to put butter, stop putting the butter and keep the bird in the cage at that time. That's all. Okay. The NASA solutions. When something obvious is staring at you, you try to do the complicated one. That's all. Eating by putting the hand behind the head like that. Shatapatra patrashata beda nyaya. So Shatapatra and Patrashata. See the beautiful samasta constructions. So Shatapatram is the title given to the big lotus. If you know, the lotus comes in different. Of course, I don't mean the normal lily, which is one word. If you see the more traditional lotus, it is having multiple whorls and is said to have 100 petals. Okay, so this one, okay, is said to have 100 petals. So it's called Shatapatram in Sanskritam because it contains 100 patras or 100 petals like that. Okay, and Patrashata is the samasta for 100 papers. Okay, 100 leaves or something like that. Okay, slightly different since Shatapatram is like a Rudi Artha for a lotus and Patrashata has no such Rudi Artha. It is a set of 100 things. Bedha Nyaya. So what is the difference between Shatapatra and Patrashata? What is that kind of Nyaya? Okay, so you see this. A needle is easily passed through 100 lotus petals as they are very soft. Okay, though the needle has pierced all the 100 petals, it was very swift or fast. Similarly, many things done in an orderly fashion, when accomplished quickly, one wonders how it was possible. Then the above maxim is quoted. So here Patrashata is in the sense of binding the hundreds of them like that. Okay, through a needle. That kind. So okay. So the difference between the two. So basically, using the correct instrument also is one thing you can say.
Sir, in Hindi edition,
Hmm.
there is an oblique after Shatpatra oblique Patra Shat Bhed Nyaya.
Oh, okay. Okay, but I read it like this. Pratrashata, I read it as Grathanam. See, when you combine 100 pages into a book, also you pierce them, no? So that Grathana Karya is implied by Patrashata Karana in my mind. Okay. Shatapatranam Patrashata iti tasya Beda Nyaya, like that. You can read it, but you're right. You can also say take it as Shatrapata Bheda Nyaya. But then what is Bheda comes into picture, right? So since Bheda is there, I wouldn't put the oblique, I would put the two. Okay. So Shatapatram.
Mahodaya, is it like integration? Mahodaya, is it like integration?
No, it is like using a certain technical process with the correct instrument to do the job. For example, it's like, you know, if you are given a nail to be put in the wall, instead of using a hammer, you use some screwdriver. What will happen? Screwdriver will break. That's all. The nail will not go into the wall. Okay. So, or your hand will break even before the screwdriver. So here the idea is, if for every work there is a process which will be defined to make it in a easy way, in a non-hurtful, non-injurious way. So the difference between how you bind 100 sheets and how you bind a Kamalapatra, there is a beda between those two. So you should not, for example, use a, I don't know, how do you call this thick needle that we use for binding? With we call it dabbala in Kannada. I don't know.
Yeah, even
I don't know what it is called in Hindi or in English also. I don't know. So that thick needle, if you use to pierce a Kamala, the Kamala will become 100 pieces instead of becoming a mala. Okay. If you want to make a mala out of Kamala, you have to use a Sukshma Suji. Okay. So that's all. That's it.
Number one Suji will be ideal.
Number one Bhagini. A long time back, I used to pick the correct needle for my mother in my childhood. Now I recall that. Yes. Yes, number one needle. Correct, Bhagini. Somebody who has experience doing hundreds of malas here spoken. Very nice. Okay. So here let us look at a verse from Amarakosha that gives the Paryaya padas for Kamala. In the context of reading the Shatapatram word, it will be nice. Va pumsi padmam nalina maravindam mahotpalam sahasrapatram kamalam shatapatram kusheshayam kshamyatam kusheshayam. See the names. Va pumsi or in Pullinga, also something like that. Padmam, it is one name for Kamalam. Then Nalinam, okay, Aravindam. See, Vapumsi indicates that sometimes you will see Pullinga also, but all these are in Napumsaka. Okay, Nalinam, Aravindam, Mahotpalam, another name. Sahasrapatram, another name. Must be a more complicated lotus flower which has even more than 100. Kamalam is the most common one that we know. And then Shatapatram, that's what is used in this Nyaya. Kusheshayam, see this Kusheshayam, it is actually a Saptami Vibhakti application in a Samasta where the Saptami Vibhakti has not elided. Kushe means on the grass, in the grass or on the grass. Shayam, sleeping. That which sleeps on a grass. I don't know why this name for Kamala, but it's interesting. Okay, I like that name. Okay, so that's what Amarakosha's Paryaya list. Va pumsi padmam nalinamaravindam mahotpalam sahasrapatram kamalam shatapatram kusheshayam. Sangrahya Vishayaha. So today's Sangrahya Vishayaha Ashtasiddhayaha. 8 siddhis, 8 prapyas, 8 things that we can obtain from. Actually, this is more from yogic practices. This is said to be the various laukika siddhis that you can obtain from yogic practices of dharana, dhyana, etc. Okay, so that's what this is list. Anima, mahima, chaiva, garima, laghima, tatha praptihi prakamyam ईशित्वं वशित्वं च अष्ट सिद्धयः. Okay, so anima, mahima, garima, laghima, praptihi, prakamyam, ishitvam, vashitvam are the 8 siddhis, and this is the siddhis from yogic practices. Okay, not from normal yoga, deep yogic practices. So anima is the ability to become minute, atomic, minute. So both anima and mahima was there. In fact, garima, mahima are somewhat a little bit related, but so Hanuman is a yogi who's supposed to have those capabilities, if you remember from story. So he could become as small as a as a grain or as big as a mountain, like that. Okay, that kind of thing. So anima, mahima means hugeness or also greatness. Cha eva, it is simply to prasa, and also, and so also garima, that is here this anima mahima is one type of contract of minuteness and hugeness. Garima lagima is another type of, so this is more volumetric, this is more linear. How do I say? It's too scientific, sorry. This is more like size, and this is more like length. Okay, you can roughly take it that.
It is
Weight,
not.
isn't it? Garima, like Guru.
I think it is heavy and light, sir.
Heavy and
Garima
light.
means
Weight,
it is
weight. You're right.
like
Weight. Correct. It's not length, it is weight. I agree with you. So first one was about size. Next one is about weight pairs. Okay. So we can become very light, which is laghima, and very heavy, which is garima. Gurutva. Gurutva is weight. Correct. Thank you. Okay. Then praptihi, that is the ability to obtain things. Okay. Prakamyam is very close because prapti is related to prakamyam. Prakamyam means whatever is desired, making that ours. Okay, prakamyam, that kind of force. Okay, praptihi means you can take it as obtaining all the laukika things like that. Okay, and of course, in if you use any of these powers for normal laukika sense, then you lose the yogic power. You should then keep this as keep this only for severe use, and continue in your path to obtain moksha. That's what eventually the Yoga Shastra says. Just don't, just because you do yogasana and you become very powerful, don't start fighting. That's exactly what the Bodha is, just because you have all these powers. Prakamyam, Ishitvam. Ishitvam is lordship. So you get lordship over things. Okay. You can easily influence another and win over them. Vashitvam is a variant. So you can take them under control. Okay. So these kind of siddhis. Okay. Anima, Mahima, Garima, Laghima, Praptihi, Prakamyam, Ishitvam, Vashitvam. So remember the 8. Okay.
Vashishtam, what did you say, sir?
Vasha, you know, no, to take Vasha of another, to take control of another, that is Vashitva.
Vashikarana.
Vashikarana. So Isha is to lord over them, to rule over them. Vashikarana is to completely grasp them by all means. That means they become like slaves. Okay, it's not good. It's not good to be used. It is you will get that power, but you should not misuse it. That's what they say.
Hypnotism.
Hypnotism. Yes, you're right.
वश में करना.
Vash mein karna. See, this picture is there. So, Anima, Mahima, Garima, Lagima, Prapti, Prakamisitvam, Vashitvam. Nothing new, but these are all the tools they give us to color the slides. So I have put it. Nothing there.
Prakamyam, could you say it?
Kamyam means that which is desired. Okay. Prakamyam has the sense of to bring to ourselves that which is desired by us. Prakamyam. Okay.
Obtaining what is desired.
You know, kama, desire. That is what is the root there. Yes.
Kamayati.
What is the question, Mahodaya?
No, I was saying obtaining what is desired.
Correct. Okay. Sapta Mataraha. Brahmi, Maheshwari, Chaiva Kaumari, Vaishnavi, Tatha Varahi, Cha Tata Indrani, Tatendrani, Chamunda, Sapta Mataraha, the 7 mothers. Okay. So mother deities. Okay. Brahmi, Maheshwari, Kaumari. So you guys can identify. Brahmi would be Saraswati. Okay. Maheshwari would be Parvati. Kaumari would be actually he's supposed to be Kumara is supposed to be a brahmachari. But okay. So this is another Kumari. May not be Kumara's wife. She may be a what you call brahmacharini deity. Kaumari. Take it like that. Okay. So actually Kaumari can be taken as a Brahmacharini Devi Shakti. Okay, fine. Vaishnavi is of course Lakshmi, or you can Lakshmi is what is mostly used for that. Then Varahi, Varahavatare, Lakshmi, Varahi.
Parvati.
Varaha Avatara, na? Varahi is used for Parvati, is it?
No.
Lakshmi.
No, Varahi is for goddess.
Lakshmi.
Varahi.
It is Lakshmi in Varaha Avatara.
Varaha is Vishnu Avatara.
Devi is one of the army leader. She is
Varahi, va?
Devi is army leader.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's some manifestation of Devi power. Okay. Indrani. So Indrani, I don't know, it means Indra's wife, but that's another manifestation. Chamunda, we know, is a manifestation of Shakti by Parvati for taking care of Mahishasura.
Sir, in Shankara Mata, they do this Alankara in Navaratri days. Sir. Each day, whatever you have given, every day one Alankara, that is Maheshwari, Kaumari.
They do it to Parvati, is it? I mean,
Sharadamba.
Sharadamba. Oh.
Shankara Mata, they do.
Sharadamba.
It comes in
Sir,
Devi Mahatmyam.
Yeah,
All the
it comes
7
in Devi
mantras comes in Devi
Yeah.
Mahatmyam.
Okay.
So the
And Durga
Indrani,
Puja.
Tata plus Indrani, no, sir?
That is basically Chaiva. That is just and also. So this kind of kavi drop-ins for prasa. Don't read too much into all those things. This Chaiva, cha, tatha, they throw it in here and there. Okay. One cha you can use.
Okay.
Sir, so Kaumari would be?
Somebody said, no, this is coming from Devi Mahatmyam Stotra, and in Shankara Mata they use this dress, this manifestations of the Mother Shakti. We call it Shakti Maha. This is different picturizations of that lady deity. Okay.
The husband is telling female form of Muruga.
Oh yeah, that's what we were guessing, right? She is a Brahmacharini. Yeah,
Yes.
female form of Muruga. Yeah, sounds like that.
All these mantras Chamba.
Om Shakti or Chandikai.
Mahodaya, I would like to explain this concept.
Please, sir.
The Parvati, is a very pavitra. Okay, so no male other than Shiva can reach him, can go near. So all the other gods, like even his son Murugan, who is called Kumaran, and the Varahi, they take the female form to worship the goddess Parvati. So they are all called this in the female name of these respective male gods, like Kumaran, Kaumaram.
But then how do you explain Maheshwari?
No, I have heard another one.
Maheshwari is the form of Maheshwar. Female form of Maheshwar, Shivji.
I know, but why will
It's
Shivji
there
come?
in all Durga Saptashati. All these names are given in Durga Saptashati part.
It is given in Saundara Lagari, one form, I don't remember the slokam. So there it is explained. So all the male gods, they go near to Parvati only with this thing, female taking the lady form. So that's why they call
it is interesting that Shiva prays to Parvati also in that sect. That is nice to know.
Yes. When they go near, they take that form.
Very good. No, I will take these are all different colorful interpretations we can give. Nothing wrong. Okay, all are parallelly acceptable. We'll move on. Huh? So remember the names: Brahmi, Maheshwari, Chaiva, Kaumari, Vaishnavi, Tatha, Varahi, Cha, Tatha Indrani, Chamunda, Sapta Mataraha. This is Guna. Many a Western author has made significant contribution to Sanskrit by translating Sanskrit works into English. Some of the well-known works are mentioned below. Some of them are controversial, but anyway, let us read it. Rig Veda by Max Muller, Sayana's commentary. If you read all the intentions of Max Muller by his letters, you will think otherwise. Anyway, Vedic reader A. MacDonnell. Okay, sorry about that. I muted now. I'm not able to hear myself. Just give me a second. Okay. So Vedic reader by A. MacDonnell. Abhignana Shakuntalam of Kalidasa by Sir William Jones. Another controversial figure. Let's not talk much. Kadambari of Bana by Keith. Samskrita drama, particularly Bhasa's play by Pichel, Konov and Luders. History of Sanskrit literature by Winternids. History of Sanskrit literature by Weber. Sanskrit English dictionary by Monier Williams. Sanskrit English and English Sanskrit dictionary by Apte. This person is very much a Mumbaiite. See, something I would like to tell you about the others. Okay. We appreciate that they took the effort, etc. But sometimes they didn't start with all the correct intentions. Even that is explicit today from reading the other communications of these people to their masters, wherever they were, etc. In the deep occupation of India, they were very intrigued by the kind of literary power of our communities, and they also were fascinated by all these granthas. So many of them they kind of bought off these granthas from poor enslaved Brahmins and took that to Europe and gave it to the scholars there to pursue and study and all that. Okay, so it's not all very proud history that these were the guys who published such things, etc. For example, there is Sir William Jones.
They gave some wrong notions of Arya, Dravida. They just broke us between two into two. Arya, they came from Himalayas. They just.
We have to blame also ourselves for listening. Anyway, so Sir William Jones, for example, there is Oxford University professor or something. So there is one marble carving present there where it shows Sir William Jones sitting on a throne like thing and all the poor Brahmins sitting on his feet and apparently learning from him, right? So this kind of depiction is very, very dishonoring. What really was the case was we were poor Indians then, enslaved for sure. And when they sent this Jones guy, he actually these poor Brahmins only translated things and helped him because they were bilingual. And everything gets edited in his name and he becomes the owner of that kind of thing. I am not negating his contribution, but the whole purpose was not correct. That's how I look at it. Anyway.
Horrible.
It's not noble in any way.
Very bad. Very bad.
Yeah. All right. But Monier Williams is excellent work. Even today we use that. It is excellent. Not everything we should suspect. Some works were really authentic, guys. And finally, some of them later became so enamored by what they learned that they actually were not what they began with. The intentions with which they began didn't end up that way with them. They learned from and they actually became, you can say in a sense, converts. Yeah. We are not able to hear you correctly at all, Bhagini. There is bandwidth issue at your end.
Is it clear now?
Try saying what you wish to say, Bhagini.
Okay. What I was like, Max Muller, he had translated the Vedas. In the beginning, he had said that it was all, hocus pocus and no value, nothing like that. Then he spent about 20 years translating all the Vedas or everything like that. And what all he had said against the Vedas had come published in the papers in big, huge headlines. After his translation and all, he said, no, this is the actual truth. This is really solid, very intelligent material, which needs to be pondered on all that. His opinion changed about it. But that comment came in the newspapers as a small snippet, sir. They didn't make it as a headline.
No, obviously. I mean, that's what I said. They began with something and ended something else. I agree. Okay. So Sayana, we should credit a lot. Sayana was an acharya in the Dvaita Parampara, part of the Vijayanagar Empire. His contribution to continuing the tradition of Veda Dhyayana is to be lauded. Okay, so what Max Muller took was pretty much took Sayana's commentary and anglicized it. Okay, so I would like to look Sayana contribution first, because we don't really need the English version. If we learn Sanskritam, we can go with Sayana's Vyakhyana and understand. But even Sayana was limited. By the time, see, Sayana was a 15th century Rishi. Okay, so what do you expect? Already India had been enslaved, attacked. So with whatever protection he had under Krishna Deva Raya and other such rulers, one of the last grand Hindu kingdoms, he did some solid work to compile commentaries on significant portion of the Vedas, and that Max Muller in turn took to English. So but Sayana himself was limited as a 15th century scholar. Some of his translations were not much appreciated because he didn't go into the depth of the potential meanings of some of the words correctly himself. So some mistakes of Sayana are seen carried forward in Max Muller. That's the typical thing you see there. Anyway, we will, but we honor Sayana a lot because he preserved it. He may have done some here and there the wrong direction, but we should look at the positive. We should not pick one ant from his big butter pile. Yeah.
The statue shouldn't have been made.
It's okay, Bhagini.
Statue making that kind of statue.
Leave it, Bhagini. It is there. It is there still. Okay. Shiksha, it's a lesson for us. Let us keep that statue as a lesson for us. That's all. Okay. Shiksha Dashamaha Pataha Antima Prashnaha. So let us take a break now, 12:08. So it's a good time for water break. Then we'll come back and try this exercise and call it a day. Okay. And if there are some question answers, we can address those today. So tomorrow 11 o'clock we will do the question paper review in a quick session. Should not take more than an hour tomorrow. So 11 o'clock tomorrow, standard week time we will do. So take a water break. Take a water break.
Today?
Bhagini?
Do you have a 3 o'clock class today also?
No. Today no 3 o'clock class. Only tomorrow 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Take a water break, guys.
Sir, whatever we say about the Germans, they made a significant contribution to the language by doing research, no?
Yes, yes. No, I'm not negating, but say at least the reason with which they started, they didn't end up with it.
It's not very noble. Motivation was not very noble.
At the beginning, yes.
And some literature does not approve the superiority of the language. That is also there.
No, the whole point of the literative study was to say this is gibberish. That's how they started it. That's all.
Okay.
Even today, most Indians believe this is all gibberish, no? Yeah.
No. That is funny.
You and I don't, but most Indians do think it is gibberish. If you just go on to the social media, you will see enough to stay away from social media. Yeah.
Sir, there is a university in California, Sanskrit Hindu University, and my nephew is studying over there. He is studying Vyasa's Mahabharatam, and his teachers are Americans.
There is also a Malayalam department in a Californian university.
Sir? Sir, in the question paper, the first line which is there, Saptamya Anta Rupam. So is it the Yan Sandhi which is there, Saptami plus Anta, E plus Swara is here. Is it that Yan Sandhi?
Yes, Saptami Anta Rupam, Saptamyanta Rupam, Saptami Anta, Saptamyanta.
So that is Yan Sandhi, you know.
There is a Samastapada and there is a End Sandhi as part of the Samastapada. Correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Good spotting.
Avane patite. Oh, no.
Okay, so let us get started after our break. I think we had a decent break. So, Dashamaha Patha Avarane Dattanam Padanam Saptamyanta Rupam Likhata. Avarane means in the bracket. Okay, Avarana means some kind of a covering. So, bracket in this sense. Avarane in the brackets. Dattanam of those given. Padanam words of those words. Saptamyanta Rupam, the form that is in Saptami. Okay, Anta means the Pratyaya, na? Pratyaya is in the end. So Saptamyanta Rupam, the Vibhakti form in the Saptami. Likhata, please write. Okay, so Bhavanam Patitam dash Janaha Davitavantaha. So we have to make Sati Saptami type of Prayoga. You don't need the Sati word. You can just put it in Saptami. Okay.
Bhavane patite.
Bhavane patite sati. Okay. So, but bhavane patite is enough here. So, kta. So, patitam patite. Kta pratyayanta. So, if you remember, guys, this was what is our what we have to remember. Okay. So, gate. So, gate. Correct. Next one. Adhyapakah agatah chatraha uttitavantah.
Adhyapake agate.
So this is also straightforward. Agatah agate. It's also ekta, not very different from earlier one. So upon the arrival of the teacher, all the students stood up. Earlier one was when the house fell or some construction fell, the people ran. Swami ahutavan sevakah dhavitavan.
Swamini
ahutavati sevakah dhavitavan. So it is Swami.
So dhavitavan is like gatavan. So gatavati. So ahutavati. Okay. So
how do we get the feminine gender?
How
do we make
so it is a
So Swami is a Nakaranta Pullinga Swamin.
It is not it is a masculine. It's a masculine word.
Yes.
Nakaranta Pullinga Shabda.
Correct.
Nakaranta Pullinga Shabda.
Correct. So Swami,
Swamino.
Swaminaha, like that. Okay, Swamin Shabda. Okay. All right. So it is not feminine. So
Then where do you get ahutavati?
Ahutavati, right?
Are Gatavati is not. It is Sati Saptami. गतवान् इत्यस्य गतवती इति सप्तमी किल तथैव अत्रापि आहूतवान् इत्यस्य आहूतवती upon the invitation, like that. Okay, Swamini ahutavati upon the invitation of the Swami. The worker, he ran.
Can you call calling?
Calling, yeah. Invitation here is calling, yeah. Correct. He didn't put beetle nut and leaf and call him. He just, hey, you come here, like that. Yeah. Okay. Tavatu balakah ruditavan mata uttitavati.
Balake ruditavati.
Correct. So this is similar to the same tavatu. Ruditavati instead of ahutavati is ruditavati. So balake. So whereas Swamin Shabda has this weird form in Saptami, which we have to practice. Swamini. Okay. Here it is straightforward Rama Shabdavat. Rame. So balake ruditavati. Okay, so the declension of the noun into Saptami is its own prakriya, has no relationship to how our Kta, Ktavatu and Shatrantas and Shanajantas end. This set, we have this table to help us. Okay, for this set, we have this table to help us. For this set, it is a very big list. You guys have to know Akaranta Pullinga, Nakaranta Pullinga Shabda, all those you guys have to know somewhat to do it. So it's a practice now, it is there. If you see now in Parichaya Pravesha and all that, many last chapters have many tables, declension tables, so time to practice those. Okay, the last one, Mantri Drishtah Janaha Harsham Praptavantah.
Mantrini drashte nakaranta pullinga shabda.
जनाः हर्षं प्राप्तवन्तः.
हाँ, अत्र णत्वं भवति वा?
नत्वम् अभवति.
णत्वं मन्त्रीणि रेफा अस्ति किल? मन्त्रिणि दृष्टे सति जनाः हर्षं प्राप्तवन्तः. All of them are.
The fourth one, sir. Translation. Balaka.
Oh, what is the meaning? What is the meaning? Yes. See, Balake Ruditavati, upon the crying of the boy, the mother stood up.
Oh, stood up.
I mean, she was sleeping or something. She got up. Okay, got up. We can say. Okay. Okay. So here, Mantrini Drishte Janaha Harsham Praptavantah. These are the good old days. Okay. So when the minister was seen, upon seeing the minister, the people expressed happiness. Okay.
Good one, sir.
Eteshu udaharaneshu.
Why is Mantrini?
Mantrini is Saptami of Mantri Shabda. Okay. Mantrin Shabda goes Mantri, Mantrinao, Mantrinaha. Okay. Mantrina, Mantribhyam, Mantribhi, something like that, and then it becomes Mantrini. Mantrinyo, Mantrishu, something like that will come. I also have to practice that. It's not easy.
Like
Gunin Shabda.
The Swamini goes like Gunin Shabda. Swamini also.
Guni, Gunino, Guninaha, like that. Correct.
Gunini, Guninoho, Gunishu.
Gunini, Guninoho, Gunishu. Correct. So Mantrini, Mantrinoho, Mantrishu. Correct. एतेषु उदाहरणेषु स्थूलाक्षरैः लिखितं सप्तम्यान्तपदं किं प्रत्ययान्तम् इति निर्दर्शत. Very easy one. So they are asking in these examples, एतेषु उदाहरणेषु, amidst these examples, स्थूलाक्षरैः with thick letters. Okay. Stulaksharaihi with thick letters, likitam, that which is written, saptamyanta padam, which is a word which is ending in saptami vibhakti, kim pratyayantam, what nature of pratyaya ending exists for that. So, iti nidarshata, you indicate. When you read this Sanskritam, you should not read the translation. You should know it immediately. Eteshu udaharaneshu stulaksharaihi likitam saptamyantapadam kim prapatyantam iti nirdishata. So like that, it should become a mother tongue in your head. Okay. Rame gatavati dasharatah murcham gatah. Ktavatu, they already identified. Okay. So gatavan gatavati. Look for the vakara. Okay. Not always it will be a clue, but look for it. Generally it will help, but there are places where if the vakara is part of the dhatu, you might get confused. Okay, so you look for it anyway. Balake dhavati sati vrishtihi agata.
Shatrantam.
Shatrantam. Okay, so here I have a clue help for you. Think how dhav, let dhavati declines in kta, ktavatu, shatr. Okay, and answer. So dhavite, dhavitavati, dhavati. So the variations are, so in kta it is dhavite, dhavitaha becomes dhavite, and in ktavatu it is dhavitavan, so dhavitavati, whereas in shatru it is dhavati. Okay, gacchati sati, gacchan, gacchanto, gacchantaha goes to gacchati sati. So same way dhavati sati. So in the fight with lot of ktantas and tavatu antas, we may have forgotten our good old Shatrantas, never forget. So Sati Saptami will be seen in Shatranta, will be seen in Shanajantas, will be seen in Kta, will be seen in Ktavatu. You have to be prepared for all of those. Okay? Well done. Shatru Pumsi, Pullinge Shatranta. Mai Chintitavati Sati Mata Ahutavati.
Tavatu.
Chintitavan, Chintitavati. Very easy one.
Trilingakaha.
Are?
Mai Trilingakaha.
But
three or three. It could be my, I am a female.
It is not. I will tell you why it is not Trilingaka. Bagini, can you tell us why it is not Trilingaka in this place?
Chintitavan.
Now I'll open the table. Look here. Okay. Gatavan, Gatavati, Pullinga. Gatavati Shabda, Gatavatyam iti bhavati. If it was Mai Chintitavatyam Sati, Sati won't be there. Satyam will be there in that case. Mai Chintitavatyam Satyam Mata Ahutavati. Then it's a daughter telling about the mother. Mai Chintitavati Sati Mata Ahutavati is being told by a putra, male. Okay. So Tavatu Pumsi. Do you see the difference?
Pumsi. Yes.
It is not known from Mai. It is not obvious from Mai, but it is obvious from Chintitavati. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
I'll keep this table open because it's not blocking us now. Tasyam agachantyam esha uthita.
Shatranta. It is Shatranta.
What linga?
Strilinga. Like Nadyam.
Gachanti shabdaha. So gachantyam.
Agachantyam.
Shatrustriyam. Okay? Pate patyamane sambhashanam na karaniyam. Now what linga?
Strilinga.
Patyamane.
Punlinga.
Pumsi.
Patyamane.
Shane Pullingam.
Is it Shanach or Karmani or
Shanach
Karmani?
Karmani.
Karmani. See here, Patya Gamyamane, Patyamane. So we should identify it as Shanach Karmani Pumsi. Okay, see, I have it correct. Shanach Karmani Pumsi. Okay, very good. But you guys, and the question is only asking us Pratyayantam. If you just answer Shanach, you will get your marks. But it will be unhappy situation. It will be nice to identify the color variation. At least this table should help you guys. Okay. In fact, the full screen form of this we had on all Sapta Vibhaktis. So that is the one to keep. Okay. All right. Mitre drishte kasya santoshaha na bhavati. Drishtaha drishte. Gataha gate. Napumsake.
Karmani.
Okay. It is Karmani by default because Kta is behaving like Karmani, you can say. Okay. So you can, in that sense, you can say. So Mitre Drishte, because Mitram is a Napumsaka, Drishte is in Napumsakatva. Okay. So Kta Napumsake. So what do I have here? Look, this three. Kta Pratyaya. See, what is the variation here to sir? Maya. Okay. Tena Tvaya can be added. Okay. to convert it to a karmani. Maya tena. So let us take one of them. Maya mitre drishte sati mama santoshah bhavati. Maya mitre drishte sati mama santoshah bhavati. By me, upon the friend being seen, my happiness happens. Okay. Then you can also say tena mitre drishte sati tasya santoshah bhavati. By him, his own friend upon seeing, his happiness will ensue. Tvaya also can be used. Wow, somebody is twisting paper like anything. Okay. Tvaya mitre drishte sati tava santoshah bhavati. So sati, there is napumsaka sati, saptami. Okay. Tvaya mitre drishte sati tava santoshah bhavati. By you, your friend, hopefully your friend upon being seen, your happiness ensues. So all these various.
Then it become karmani, no, sir?
I am showing the full color to show the karmanitva of that ktanta. Yeah, yeah. Okay. That's why I brought in the karta. When you bring the karta, then you will see the karmani flow. Karta is in tritiya. See, tritiya ekavachana. Karta can be I, can be him, or can be you. So I have shown all purushas. Okay. Yuktam padam likhata. Aishwaryam sujanata. Shauryam
Vaksamyamaha.
Somebody is right. I have to click this table off. See, okay, let us remember this beautiful verse. Aishwaryasya vibhushanam sujanata shauryasya vaksamyamo jnanasyopashamah shrutasya vinayo vittasya patre vyayah akrodastapasah kshama prabhavitur dharmasya nirvyajata sarveshamapi sarvakaranamidam sheelam param bhushanam. So all these questions are related to this verse. Simple. Aishwaryam sujanata shauryam vaksamyamaha. Jnanam upashamaha. So jnanasya upashamaha. Then shrutam
Vinayah.
Vinayah. Shrutasya vinayah. So shrutam vinayah. So patre vyayah vittam. Akrodah
Tapaha.
Tapaha. So you should answer tapaha. Somebody so told very correctly. I am very happy. See, at least one exercise is there for you. Here, this is in Shashti and that like that. Aishwaryasya vibhushanam sujanata. So for Aishwarya, it is sujanata. So here they just did not put the Shashti vibhakti, just pushed the Pratama vibhakti. So Aishwarya sujanata. Here if you see, akrodah tapasaha. So this tapas actually is the Shashti version here. Tapasaha. Okay. Where I lost the part of that. Akrodas tapasa. Here. So akrodas tapasaha. So tapasaha akrodaha. So tapaha, we have to say. There is a little twist here. If you remember, see, vittasya patre vyayah tapasaha akrodaha. But here vittam is given, so you have to take it to pratama also here. You cannot put tapasaha. Tapaha you have to put. So that much is being asked of you at this third level. We are not at pravesha level, no? So we have to know how to do the vibhakti adjustments. Okay. So tapasaha akrodaha from Shashti goes to tapaha in pratham. Samartaha kshamaha sarve
Sheelam.
Very good. Param bhushanam. Okay, so with that we are done with all the 10 lessons. Okay.
I won't talk.
Oh, எல்லாம் unmute தான் இருக்குமா, எல்லாம் கேக்குறது.
Sorry, sir.
இருக்கட்டும். இப்போ so we are done with all our normal lessons. So we will gather tomorrow for a question paper review. Please, it's not like very much required, but I thought because some people want to know, I am going through some as how I would attempt the question paper. Not every single question I will answer there. I will take selected answer for each type and show. We will go through that quickly tomorrow and call it a day. Okay, and what I have here is a Italian I studied Italian language also. I was living in Italy for a couple of years, so that's why I love the language. So it says grazie, ci vediamo, alla prossima, auguri. What these words mean? Grazie means thank you. Ci vediamo means we will certainly see each other again. Alla prossima means when we meet again. Okay, auguri, or actually it means next time. Okay, auguri means good wishes.
It's very near to French.
It is a Latin language, so it is very related to French. But unlike French, it doesn't have missing letters in pronunciation. It is perfectly pronounceable. So there is every combination of Roman letters has a perfect pronunciation in Italian. So there is no two ways about pronouncing. So grazie, grazie, ci vediamo, alla prossima, auguri. So I will never be confused to read it. Okay, it's perfectly readable language. Okay, with that we will end it and see you all tomorrow with a prarthana. We will end today. सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम सो श्वः पश्यामः धन्यवादः
Thank you so much, sir.
धन्यवादः महोदय.
धन्यवादः
We have learned some Italian.